Flux, there is a element of survivability, and Yixing's passive allows him to have essentially a destiny for free, right? And with the heals coming out from Yu Huan, with the Unending Sorrow, the iframes coming out from the Ma Yin, and Arlie having the ability to weave in and out, it's a big thing. But this final pick by Nongshim, the Musashi, could be the killing blow because he is going to just tear through Rough World era.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I think, I mean, okay, look, I think that there's a lot of pressure on Arise on the Yuhan, because every time he uses the Unending Sorrow, he has to use it in a good situation where he's not then just caught out by like a duel of the death, right? Or in an Unbridled Outburst. He needs to ensure that he's using it properly and then he's able to get away, because if he gets caught out, they're just going to crumble. He's pretty much your front liner with the Mayin, and, you know, having that time flux to get away, you have that potential to outmaneuver them, but you can't get caught out. It's going to be super important. Again, very high risk, high reward lineup that RWE are bringing. Nongshim are bringing a more traditional lineup. I really like the Musashi pick. I think Haku's another monster on him. But again, it looks like Nongshim, their drafts have been very, dare I say, streamlined, or very, this is like their play style.
Yeah, stock standard, right?
Yeah,
at this point, I mean, if it works, just keep to it. But at this point, the way that both drafts work and look to me, it's like playing a game of catching or playing a game of tag, right? Because both sides, they have the ability to close the gap really quickly. Time Flux gives you the extra mobility, and if he goes with the Howling Wind, that is a big catching machine coming out from RWE. Likewise, on the side of Nongshim, they have people like the Charlotte, who's able to go in from a distance, duel to the death coming out from Musashi. A lot of emphasis on positioning for both teams. If you're out of position, you can expect to be taken down with a huge aggressive force.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Tunski, the Yixing, as well as the Shi Illusion, both of these heroes are going to be doing a lot of dictating, right? Are they able to kind of reposition the enemy team a better job than, their counterpart, so to speak? It's going to be very important for this one. But again, I think that the Nongshim draft, to me, it's sticking to their strengths. RWE are kind of, they're playing high risk, high reward. And if they're able to do this, they were very close in the game one with that lineup. They had a very good strategy, but they weren't able to kind of close the deal. That's my biggest worry, is that you can get yourself in a good situation where you're able to kind of, put yourself in a position to win, but are you able to close the deal?
Yeah, exactly. The killing blow is really important, because if you don't get the killing blow, you allow that farm to really just accumulate. I think it's going to be against your favor, right? And at this point, Nongshim, I think they're going to feel a lot of pressure in the farm lane, because that's one of the biggest win conditions on both sides, which is how well does the farm lane do? Danny on the Arlie, we all know a late game Arlie is an instant burst machine.
Yeah, but again, very, very squishy, right? Like, he has the potential to just kind of burst you out and lit step away. Kind of similar to like the Loom in that way of just kind of, do your high damage, get on out of there, you should be fine. And I do think that Danny is definitely a capable player of being able to play this Arlie at that high level. But it's tough because you're going up against Faye, which has that control, the Unbridled Outburst, then Siri, who has, a decent amount of burst himself. So you got to be able to play that one.
Yep, first move coming out from the side of Nongshim will not be too big of a moment, but they get the first blood potentially. The passive not going to work out. Tunski gets taken down, first blood. Once again, Nongshim get the first hit of the game. It's not under Danny, which is a good news, but still, it is a deficit that they need to start recovering from.
Yeah, good, nice little rotation. I mean, RWE had the numbers to kind of deal with that. Unfortunately, their positioning was a little bit off, and Haku just hitting 4 at the right time, just saving it up, understanding that Tunski was the low one, and to be able to get that final killing blow, pretty huge for him. Nice rotation there, and it paid off in spades.
Yeah, looks like they want to try and catch out 7jin. He's going to be forced to go back for the time being, but the pacing by Nongshim really quick. And RWE, they have to take a consolation prize in terms of the boars.
Yeah, and you have to steal whatever you can, right? You cannot let Haku get going. He's the type where you got to slow down in some fashion or another. But checking this replay, look you're finding him out. Faye, he was actually, Siri, kind of baiting him out by getting a little bit low, using that life as a, just bait, and being able to just kind of get it, dangle it a bit as bait for RWE to potentially go for it. But he had that rolling raid, so Siri knew he was fine at the end of the day, but just buying enough time for Haku to get in there.
Yeah, putting the Savior in Leaping Savior, right? I think Faye is doing a really good job. And the fact that, oh, hang on, 7jin gets taken down 2v1. And this is a horrible start for the side of RWE. And it might get worse here, but the backup comes in from the side of Rough War Era and Nongshim. They're content because they already have the lead. They don't have to push too hard.
Yeah, don't need to push too hard. I mean, it's 1K, and it looks like Haku still continuing on. Arise taking a decent amount of damage here. But it looks like Arise will be fine.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be doing too much, right? I mean, at this point, Danny, he's under a lot of pressure, and I don't think there's a save coming in. Faye is pretty tanky at this point. Level 4 already, and I don't see how RWE can punish. There is no opening.
Yeah, you need the catch, right? And they don't really have a whole lot of that. I mean, later on, maybe when you have 7jin kind of dash through, gets his whatever to kind of pull people around, but just seeing that he's all the way in the top lane, you don't really have that control. Everything is very linear in terms of, you know, what can potentially run at you, because if you know where the Toonski is, you know, his taking liberties is not going to really hit you because, again, you know where he's coming from. It's a very linear approach.
Yep. So it sounds like, and it looks pretty much the same as game number 1, right? There's not enough control coming in from the side of Rough War Era, and they will rely on 7jin quite a lot. And at this point, this first Tyrant of the game, it looks like it's pretty much in the bag for Nongshim.
Yeah, definitely in control here. It doesn't look like, you know, RWE want any part of this. Maybe they go for the Overlord, if anything, but with Haku picking that one up, the rich get richer at this point. You know, it's about a 1K net worth lead. It's been kind of swinging a little bit on that side, but, you know, RWE need to figure out ways to get a little bit more farm, and allowing the bottom T1 to go down to Siri, not a great start for them.
Yeah, at this point, Danny trailing behind Siwi. He will hit that level 7 at this point. But once again, Siwi, they have left up one jungle camp for him to farm. So he's consistently just ahead in EXP. Even by just half a level, there's a big difference. Because he's going to hit his additional skill just a little bit earlier than his counterpart, Danny.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's huge, right? Especially early. You definitely want to be higher level in terms of experience as well as farm. All of those things are very good for you. But look at Haku being aggressive, and he's at Fleur. He's just going to walk right in.
Yep, he's going to try and put some pressure, but the rest of Rough War Era around the area as well. So this is going to be a big contest. If they lose this, it's a horrible situation for the side of Rough War Era. They will get the smite, and it goes down onto Arise. The nice knock-up, they get the catch onto 2, but it's Faye and Haku. The last 2 members you want the farm lane. You want Siri does not get the catch.
Yeah, Haku actually used his might as well, but Arise actually got it. You know, he just had a little bit more damage in that sense, and just being able to pick that one off, pretty huge for them. I mean, it was a huge commitment on both sides to kind of steal for it, but again, every single buff, you know, just defending your own jungle, it's got to be a little bit more, you know, conscious, like for RWE, because it's more complex. You're getting pushed out. Everything is very difficult. Nothing is for free.
Oh, the pincer comes in. Haku chasing on the back lines. He's looking for Danny as well. Gets the duel to the death, but he does not have enough health. He will use that Blood Rage to get out. And at this point, Faye might be the sacrificial lamb. They're trying to get their hands on to Siri. He will not make it out. 7jin gets the kill. It's a 1-for-1 at this point. And it does not matter because Nongshim, they still have the lead. 18,000 at this point.
Look, I'm going to have to check the angle on that one, but I think Siri actually might have messed up his rolling rate. I think he was trying to roll into the Tyrant Pit, and I think he just barely missed, and 7jin was able to continue the, you know, his assault. And Kyung9 was trying to keep him alive, not able to do so, but, you know, Siri just on the run, I think it was a bit of a misclick, if anything else.
Well, I think it was inevitable. His death, regardless of whether he made it out into the pit itself, I think 7jin still had whatever's to really throw and get across that wall, right? So he was a guaranteed kill.
Okay, guaranteed kill, yes, but then I think that you have the rest of Nongshim. And again, we're going to have to see the replay of where everyone else was. If they were able to kind of put him in the pit, then 7jin would, you know, then he might be in a bad spot. Yeah, he might have gotten the kill on Siri, but, you know, maybe he would have taken a little bit more damage. But now, Nongshim right now, putting a little bit of pressure, at least on the top lane, get that top T1.
Yep, and this is a huge marker, right? So 1,000 ahead might not seem like much, but the map control is huge coming from Nongshim. Haku waiting on the back lines, going for a rise. Will he commit that duel to the death? Right now, he chooses not to because they force out the unending sorrow. 7jin on the back lines, trying to go for more. Siri makes it out unscathed at this point, and right now the aggression has to end for the side of Rough War Era. There is no catch to be had.
Yeah, no catch to be had. Haku right now saving the duel to the death. You don't need to go. You don't need to overcommit. If you get yourself in a bad situation, you don't want to be, you know, out of position, so to speak. Siri was very low. Once he got out, Haku was like, okay, we all need to get out of here. Everybody needs to just stay alive. But RWE doing a good job of just sticking together. Now they're going to start the Overlord, and this is looking to be a free one.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it looks like both teams, they're doing the tango, and Nongshim just a little bit better, right? They have chosen specific moments to get out of very hard situations, and at this point, RWE, they might go for it. They will dive under that T1, but here comes the backup. Haku goes for the do on the death onto the Yixing as well. Gets locked up into the board, but here comes the backup. Kyung9, will he go for more? At this point, they will not be able to get to Haku, and Haku makes it out alive over and over again.
Yeah, very close. I mean, just keeping that T1 alive, though, was pretty much thwarting any sort of actual assault by RWE. But they had a good potential. They had a good idea. They almost, I mean, they were close to do it, but not expecting Haku to come out of left field and just kind of, to make things a little bit uncomfortable for RWE. They had the sustain and they would have been fine, but they didn't really want to dive onto the tower. So another assault attempt, but no conversion on that one.
Yep, it's going to be like that for the, next 4 or 5 minutes. Maybe Faye will be the prize they can collect. He will not commit his ultimate, gets the kill, but it goes to Fleur. This is not the best situation for the side of RWE era. They get the trade on the side of Nongshim, gets the Tyrant for themselves. Not the Shadow Tyrant just yet, but T1 under threat.
Yeah, and taking liberties, that's the thing. That repositioning, absolutely huge. Haku.
He's gonna go in, gets the Blood Rage down as well, but it's a big overcommitment. 7jin gets the kill. This is a big turning moment. 7jin will move back. Here comes the potential heals. No, Arise has no more ultimates, no unending sorrow, but they get a T1, so that's a good situation. But on the back lines, we might be looking for an opening onto Kyung9. Who does he pick? He picks out Danny. He gets the kill as well. Kyung9, the hero for the side of Nongshim. Here comes the backup. He might have to give his life, but Siri, he feels confident. He wants to go in for more. He's the back out, and Nongshim, they still take the win here.
Oh, Kyung9, you are a brave man. He saw all 4 of them, and he was like, oh yeah, no, I can still get this kill onto Danny, and I can get out scot-free, essentially. Kyung9 playing the Charlotte to the maximum there, and being able to take a bit of a high-risk, high-reward play, and he actually got rewarded on that.
Yep, this might be a big moment here. Potential still coming out, but it is going to be thwarted. At this point, Haku just pushes them away. Just his mere presence is enough to tell RWE era, hey, now is not your time. Here comes the world is my board. Will not get anyone besides Faye, but Faye, he's cannon fodder. He does not care if he dies.
Okay, as a fellow roamer, I hate the fact that you call him a cannon fodder. We have feelings too, okay? No, but Faye is playing it well. I mean, he's very tanky. He understands the limits of this one. But I do want to talk about Toonski. The Yixing, you're seeing it time and time again. The taking liberties is actually kind of botching things up. He's able to get some good kills. I mean, the first time onto Faye because of that, but just setting things up and slowing down Haku. Because once he duels to the death, you create the world is my board and make it this giant checkerboard where it's very difficult for Haku to kind of continue on with that momentum.
Yeah, but Asian dad come in. You need to land a sliding stones. That's the majority of your damage, right? And at this point, they're going to give it a try. Unleash the beast onto 2. The backlines. Danny will make it out safely at this point, but there's a lot of commitment going in. Duel to the death. Goes for the Yixing. Tunski might not survive. The first one down in this fight. And on the backlines, once again, Danny in trouble. Can he get the kill? And they will get the return fire. Haku gets taken down. 1-for-1 trade. But I think this is a big win for the side of RWE era. They have managed to shut down Haku.
Yeah, actually pretty huge. Once he died, I was like, okay, this fight, not good for them. I mean, Nongshim was going ham. He was being very aggressive, and they didn't really have the follow-up. Again, Haku so far up in front. They take the mid T1 here, and Nongshim are looking to kind of equalize in terms of that. Oh my gosh, they're continuing.
Oh, big moment. That's a big heal. Danny, he pushes on. He dies for the effort, but as long as they get the kill, this is a big win for the side of RWE RWE era. They get two kills in this big fight, and right now, RWE era, if they can get that Shadow Overlord, it's going to be a big moment for them.
Okay, I was kind of like Nongshim in the sense that, like, is this fight real? Like, RWE were continuing on, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, Nongshim are in a bad spot. RWE continuing on with the fight, getting some of those kills onto Siri and Faye. Absolutely huge for RWE. They're back in this game as they have the net worth lead now.
Yeah, they understood that they need to be tenacious about their efforts and they need to trudge on, right? I think that was the best decision ever. Maybe not too much damage coming out from Arise with the Unending Sorrow, but nonetheless, it's a big momentum swing, right? Right now, 7jin, he goes up 1v2, might have to give his life here. Haku going for the chase as well, the knockup, but 7jin, he's not long for this Will trying to make it out. Duel to the death, the shutdown. 7jin does not make it out.
Yeah, Haku saving that duel to the death, realizing that this is the last one. Like, if you play your trump card, okay, I have my trump card. I'm going to be able to chase you to the ends of the earth. You're not going to get away from Haku. Understanding that, and again, Haku, he's great on the Musashi, and there's a reason for that, but you got to get him going. Him dying that one time was actually pretty huge for RWE to get back in this game.
Yep, and the opening to even things out, put a cap on it, because right now Nongshim, they will be going for that Shadow Overlord. No contest coming in, it's not a good position to try and contest for that anyway, and thus, Nongshim swing things back into their favor.
Yeah, I mean, this is as 50-50 as it gets. If we're talking about drafts alone, who has the edge in the late game?
Honestly, I think late game goes to RWE era because Tunski, he will be able to get a lot of damage, but this is on the basis he lands that world is my board. He needs to lock them in. Okay. If not, there's no damage coming in.
Yeah. No, I see that. I mean, but like whenever you have a Lady Soon and a Musashi, I'm almost thinking late game, like they're fine, right? Like I think that they're able to contest, but again, I think it's more of the control that you're talking about from Tunski, right? Being able to kind of, dictate the fight. Maybe you get that pick off and then turn those fights 5 versus 4, and I think you're gonna have a good time.
Yep. Potential situation, I mean, if Haku commits that duel to the death too early, it could bait his entire team to step into the world of my board. And I think that's the situation that RWE era are waiting on, right? But as it stands now, Siri already, I think, should be at maximum itemization. So that's not going to be an easy situation to get out of.
Yeah, look at those towers just getting completely whittled down here. Siri just like making mincemeat of them and forcing it out, but Arise all the way up in front.
Yep. Big damage, going to be forced to use the Unending Sorrow, and right away, Siri, he's able to do this over and over again. No major commitments coming out from the side of Nongshim. Most ultimates are still available. Only illusion left in terms of waiting for the cooldowns, but Nongshim, like we said, advantage going to them at this point. 15 minutes in.
We definitely have the advantage here. I mean, it's 15 minutes here. The Shadow Tyrant is going to be picked up. Faye all the way up in front. Oh, they're going.
Yep, duel to the death, gonna be put up on the backlines as well. They go in, the Charlotte, he's doing so much work. Will give his life for the cause, and finally the lockdown onto 4, but there's nobody near. And at this point, 7jin uses the flash. Can he get the catch? This is a big moment. Gets the pulling with the whatever as well. They will get the kill. Illusion gets taken down. And here we go, Tunski survives once again. They get the kill onto Haku. A big turnaround, and RWE era, this is their time.
Oh, this is definitely their time. They've been forcing it out. Kyung9 all the way up in no man's land. He was in the heart of the enemy team, and he just got blown up. You cannot take a fight when, Kyung9 is all the way in the back line trying to do something 1 versus 4. You're just not that type of hero, and now they've paid, and now it looks like they want more.
Yep, that was a huge catch. Faye the last one to make the stand, but nothing matters at this point because RWE era are here to play, and to get the second game of the series 1-1. Everything tied up.
I'm sorry, did you just blink? Because that's how RWE just got back in this game. Just a single team fight, a little bit of a bad positioning by Nongshim, and